This is Gavin on the No Sports Sense podcast.
Hank on the No Sense podcast.
Yeah, that's right. We're hitting you with some vital topics
today. This is
today.
Hank on the No Nonsense podcast.
Exactly. All right, let's get her started. Let's just jump right into it, shall we? I want to talk about how Royce White, the 16th pick in the 2012 draft, has been underappreciated and not quite frankly, not talked about enough. You know, you have your Steph Currys, you have your Giannis Antetokounmpos, you have your James Hardens, you have, your Kawhi Leonards, and, they get the respect they're due. But I feel like Royce White isn't getting the respect he's due. Now, let's just take a look at his stats real quick. 3 games played in the NBA, 2 shot attempts, okay, and he's made none of them. No blocks, no steals, no points, no assists. All for the Sacramento Kings. Now, that makes him a king, first and foremost, with a -8 PER. But that -8 PER actually cancels itself out with those field goal attempts. So you're probably looking at an MVP 25-plus PER in all reality. Right now, he's currently playing in the Canadian NBDL League for the London Lightning, which also makes him particularly qualified on foreign matters. And he's made $1.7 million in his playing career. So I feel like he's dramatically underappreciated by the common fan, and I just want to get the dialogue going about Royce White.
Let me tell you something about Royce. 9 minutes, I've seen a lot of games be decided in under 3 seconds. So minutes doesn't make a fucking difference. If you're talking about minutes and you're gonna try and bring up the fact that LeBron James or Kawhi Leonard's played more minutes, no, that doesn't make a difference.
It's about quality, not quantity.
Absolutely. And when he's out there on the court, people are taking notice.
Exactly. And he's achieved more in his life than anybody else I know personally in the financial realm. And people want to knock on this guy? Give me a break.
You don't make that kind of money if you don't know what you're doing. Believe me, my friends tell me this. I know this. I've seen it out there. It's true. Trust me on this one. If he's out there making that kind of money, he's worth it.
Exactly. And, let's say you go with the theory that it is better to play more games and more minutes. Okay, let's say I give you that for the sake of argument.
Which is total bullshit to begin with anyway, you fuckers.
Total bullshit. Now, he had a anxiety disorder, and he was afraid to fly, and that's why he wasn't able to play more games. Now, maybe this anxiety is based in facts. They say flying is safer than driving, but maybe he's on to something. Maybe us as the public need to not be driving, need not to be flying. Hell, those teams could have fucking let him take a charter bus every game, and now they're going to kick him out of the league just because he doesn't want to fly, and it might not be as safe as driving. I mean, for God's sakes.
Let's look at the facts. Driving is safer than flying, and second of all, it's cheaper. All right? So this guy's not only got the interest of the company at heart,
right,
he's also out there being safe. So if that doesn't mean that he should get a fucking raise, then I don't want to talk to you or your dad's uncle.
Exactly. My dad's uncle will not be able to handle this kind of loss with Royce White being out of the NBA. I mean, think about this. In those 3 games that he played with 9 minutes total, maybe those fans that are at those games were so enraptured by his performance that he's left an indelible imprint on their minds, and it's inspired, let's say, 20,000 people for each game, 60,000 people totally to change their lives. Who's to say that he didn't leave a more indelible image on this game than, say, LeBron James?
Those are the kind of intangibles that we're talking about on this podcast. That's the kind of points we want to bring up that people aren't talking about. Mm-hmm. That's why when we look at someone like Royce, who's out there and he made 2 shots, that doesn't say how many steps he took. He took more steps off the court than he did on the court, and that kind of business is the kind of stuff it's a role model for other children, and it sets the precedent for the league as a whole.
I mean, hey, maybe if Fitbits were more popular in 2012, we could have counted his steps and then paid him appropriately. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, with the huge spike in money coming in from the TV deal and these players going to be getting these huge contracts, they're talking about Steph Curry, they're talking about LeBron James getting these $200 million 5-year deals. I don't see any reason why Royce White shouldn't be on the same level. Give this guy a $200 million contract. He's only 25 years old.
How could you give $25 million to a guy like Kobe who doesn't even have any hair on his head to begin with? Let's talk about age. Now, This guy's a young pup, and you're going to give a guy like Tim Duncan an $18 million contract when you got a young pup on the court. He deserves at least triple what he's getting paid, at least quadruple what he's getting paid, just to meet the bare minimum standard.
I mean, you know, I got the stats here, all right? You just look at the transaction history, and he was, let's see, hold on a second, folks, while I get my bearings, all right? I just want to make sure I'm giving you stats, okay? Now, he was, I can't find it right at the cuff. He was transferred and waived and signed to multiple 10-day contracts. And you're telling me just because a 10-day contract isn't as secure as a 5-year contract that he should be looked upon with a lesser eye? I don't buy it.
Let me ask you this, Bill. What's his height?
His height, honestly, he is 6'8", 270 pounds. You know, all they talk about how LeBron is a fucking Greek god at 6'8", 250. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he's got the same frame, the same build. Why shouldn't he be talked about in the same breath?
He's got more height on him than Spud Webb. Now, Spud Webb, people talk about to this day, that's bullshit because, let's be honest, Spud Webb is a little boy compared to this man on the court.
Yeah, he was a little boy. And I don't know. Honestly, if I took a poll of all the GMs in the league and I said, who do you want to build your franchise around? You know, you got your Anthony, you know, these young players, you know, you got your Kristaps Porzingises, you got your Anthony Davis, you got your Giannis Antetokounmpos, you got your Nikola Jokic's. But
keep the list going.
But you got
you got Karl Anthony Towns,
and you got Karl Malone looking to make a comeback.
You got Doug McDermott. You got Frank McDermott. You got Bill Kakanumahasa. You got Brian Stats. You got Brill Frackton. You got Tom Brady. You got Tall Brady. You got Stan Mikeston. You have Stanley Bryan.
Exactly. These are names.
Let's keep the list going. You got Hank. You got Gavin.
You do. You got these players, all right? And don't forget, like I mentioned, Karl Malone's looking for a comeback. Now, those players, sure, they're worthy to be mentioned, and they're worthy of SportsCenter hits. But what I want to say is, just because a guy's 25, don't give up on the fact that he can drive. And drive to those arenas and not fly and, you know, start to give you some serious production.
Not to mention, he gets a discount on a rented car as well.
Yeah, he does, because he's, very astute observation there, Bill. He's 25 now, and now he, I don't know if he's blown through that cash, but if he's got enough money to rent a car, he'll be able to fulfill that contract this time.
Speaking of astute observations, it's actually Moses Malone who's coming back to the NBA, not Karl. Karl's out in Indiana making pancakes for a living.
Well, thank you, podcasters and podcasties. Please take some time, talk to your fellow brothers about Royce White and his overall impact in the game and his career, his Hall of Fame probability, please, just to, increase the NBA dialogue, and let's talk about people that should be talked about.
The North Star Sports Podcast, making your listening your news today.